And what he said is, you are a celebrity. There's product here. Right here.
Okay, hello, and welcome back to episode 2 of the That Film Blog UK podcast. My name is Luke, and I'm joined with my co-host, Ollie Gamble. I didn't actually make that very clear in the first episode, so I'll make it clear this time you are a permanent co-host, not just a
permanent,
a side member.
Nice.
How are you feeling, man? How are you doing?
I'm great, yeah. I'm excited again for the next hour. I've got a lot to talk about. A lot. I'm excited.
There is a lot of news, and we've got some fun reviews coming up.
We do.
Before we get into it, I just want to say thanks to everyone that listened to the first episode. We managed about 130 views, which was pretty good. I wasn't expecting that many. We've got some comments we'll go through in a minute. If you're listening, you might have noticed there's a few new things about this episode. We've got some music throughout, opening and closing music. So I'd like to say thanks to Joe Cupis. He made that. Ollie, you'll hear it when it comes out, but I think you'll like it. It really fits what we want. Really happy with that.
Okay.
And we've also got a new logo, which again will be on with this episode when it comes out. That was designed
just
by
for the
Tom
podcast.
Shepard.
A podcast logo.
For everything, man. We're really stepping up the game, yeah. So they're the new additions.
How's any ads?
Week.
Ad revenue?
I think this week there has been another cent in the bank account. So as I say, check the post because you'll be getting a check coming through eventually.
Good.
You might get taxed on that as well. So just keep an eye out. So
I'm
before we get into
payroll.
it, no one's on the payroll. I'm not on the payroll. I've been doing this for 6 years.
That's a real shame, man.
Before we get into it, let's just have a browse of the comments from last week. So there are some worth talking about. So a couple of hours after episode 1 went out, this was a real treat. Simra Frost left a comment. And
She did.
This was a really nice one, actually. She said, "Oh yeah, do you love me? Heart eyes, lips, heart, heart, heart."
Oh, wow.
How kind. Just
And
out of nowhere.
a brief look on Simra Frost's YouTube channel will reveal the kind of content she produces.
I saw, when I searched...
She doesn't have any videos.
On YouTube. She's got playlists, doesn't she?
Yeah.
We're in one of them.
No, we're not.
We
No,
are.
she said she has no playlists.
Oh, well, it must be in the other person's playlist. But you replied to that saying Anakin-esque.
I did.
Which it was a contextual jibe. Which was
she would have got it if she listened to the whole hour and 34 minutes.
I doubt she made it that far. Then we had Patricia Lee, who, again, a really nice proposition. We really must have left a good impression because she said, "Contact me if you want to be my boyfriend," with another array of emojis, which again was just it's the kind of
what was that one called?
The account.
Yeah.
Patricia Lee.
Patricia Lee said that. Well, thank you, Patricia.
Yeah. Patricia, if you listen to this one, I hope we don't let you down. I hope you're still happy. Then we had 2 other comments. These are a bit more recent. First one's from someone called Jake Hinton, asking if we could review The Social Network. What's your take on that?
I love The Social Network. It's my favourite Fincher film. I think it's probably the best film of the 2010s, actually.
Really?
I said that, actually. And then a few days later, there was an article saying that Quentin Tarantino said the same thing. So. Wow.
2 absolute visionaries over there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to do an episode on our favourite films of the last decade. I think that'd be quite interesting.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'm sure the people would love to hear that.
I think Jake Hinton would, based on his love for The Social Network.
Jake Hinton. Just for you.
Second comment was from Will Hinton, who said, "This is the best
Winton
podcast.
Hinton.
Please review."
Winton
Hinton. I do apologise. "This is the best podcast. Please review Joker."
This is the best. Wow. A lot of nice comments on the first one.
Some really lovely comments. I'm not gonna pencil in Joker, but maybe one day we'll get to that.
Yeah, I can talk about Joker.
No, I've got things to say. I think I've got some takes.
Okay,
let's get into the news section then.
The news. Do you have a news jingle?
There will be a jingle for the news. So everyone would have just heard that. I hope you enjoyed the new jingle.
That was really good, that jingle.
Um, segment 1, the Dune trailer. Have you watched it?
The Dune trailer, really good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed when it still hasn't come out.
Well, it's meant to come out tomorrow, so by the time it comes out, people might have seen it.
That is typical. The day we record.
Which reminds me, I should apologise for last week's TV recommendation for a film which you could no longer watch.
Yeah, I did pick up on that.
Yeah, so apologies for those that were looking on the Film 4 TV guide for Get On.
We all make mistakes, man. We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
So we can't talk about June. There were some pictures. I think it was Empire did an exclusive first look sort of thing a couple of days ago.
Did.
I haven't read it because I don't want those types of articles often have some spoilers.
Yeah,
and that's not what I'm about. So hopefully next week, for the third week running, we'll actually be able to discuss that.
Yeah, hopefully.
But there is a trailer we can discuss, isn't there?
Is there?
There is indeed.
Is
No Time to Die.
No Time to Die, of course.
There's a new poster. Have you seen the new poster?
I'm looking at it right now, actually.
What do you think of it?
Yeah, pretty standard Bond fare. Nice little pistol.
I don't really like the poster. Compared to the first set of posters were quite nice. This one's just a little
pretty
bit...
boring. It's a bit drab.
Yeah.
Daniel Craig can't carry that poster.
There's really nothing to gain
despite his
from
disarming good looks.
Oh yeah, he's pulling off the Bond look. He's really going all out for his last time. Who do you think is going to be the next Bond?
Who do I think?
Yeah, who would you cast?
Who would I cast?
Yeah, if you were Walter Broccoli or whatever the guy's called, Albert Broccoli.
And Barbara, someone.
Barbara
Broccoli. Yeah.
Who would it be?
I think it would have to be between Idris Elba and Tom Hardy.
Do you think?
The only thing with both of them is that they're already pretty huge.
Yeah.
Maybe someone younger.
I think Richard Madden would be good.
Richard Madden is a good shout. Richard Madden is a good shout.
He's on the Marvel wagon now, so I don't know whether he'd want to dip his toes in for another franchise.
Yeah, possibly.
But Richard, if you're out there, let us know.
Please send us an email at thatfilmbloguk@gmail.com.
We might even read it out at the start of next episode if you're lucky.
If you're lucky, Richard.
What did you think of the trailer?
I loved it. Well, yeah, I loved it. It's got me excited. It seems very Bondy.
It does seem very Bondy.
With Bond, it's hard to really gauge whether quality from the trailer.
Oh yeah, the quality can vary so much.
It looks good.
But it's interesting.
I like the director.
Yeah.
Big fan of the first season of True Detective, Beast of No Nation. I also watched Maniac.
Oh, Maniac, that's what it's called.
Yeah, Maniac.
With Jonah Hill.
With Jonah Hill and Emma Stone. And Justin Theroux. And Sonia Mizuno.
Justin Theroux?
Theroux, yeah.
Had to pick you up on that one.
Well, Louis Theroux is Justin Theroux's cousin.
Yeah.
And it's Louis Theroux.
That's a crazy family.
It's just because it's English-American.
Well, I'm pretty sure Christian Bale and Gareth Bale are related. You still pronounced it wrong in Justin's book, but hey. You're a podcaster, you're free to do what you want.
Yeah, no. Sorry, Justin, if you're listening.
Send us an email as well if you like.
Yeah, tell us how you feel. I'm a big fan of The Leftovers, Justin. Thank you.
It's the second week in a row. Leftovers has had a shout out.
Yeah.
We might have to mention it one day. I quite like the trailer. That stunt they've got going on the bridge with the motorbike.
Yeah.
That looks cool. It's very quippy. It's got the classic new Bond quip. I like Blofeld being back, Christoph Waltz. I'm interested to see the extent of his role.
Yeah. But did you like Spectre?
I didn't dislike it, but it's nothing. I've never gone back to it. I still think the best one's Casino Royale. I think that is top.
Casino Royale is
top
incredible.
Notch.
I think Skyfall comes very close.
Skyfall's good, but it's not. I don't think it's as special.
I think. Yeah. I do love the bit at the end in Scotland. I think that bit is amazing. Yeah,
that's a very fun little Home Alone.
Yeah, it is
type sequence.
Absolutely. So if it's hopefully it's more on the Casino Royale Skyfall's end of the spectrum and not the Quantum of Solace Spectre end of the spectrum.
a real mess.
I can't remember what happens in Quantum of Solace.
It is the kind of thing
it's
that you forget
water,
the second you watch it. It's
like
like
water. And
it's
Olga
either
Kurylenko,
water
and there's a Bolivian warlord or something.
He's got like a massive dome in the desert.
Yeah, weird film.
Wow, that was bad. Really bad. But this doesn't look bad.
It doesn't look bad. Ana de Armas looks cool. I believe she's meant to be playing a CIA agent. Jeffrey Wright.
Like it will be. Yeah, he's back.
Another mention for him, Jeffrey, if you're listening.
He's on a brace right now.
Yeah. I think he's CIA as well. He looks pretty cool.
Yeah, he was in Casino Royale, I think, or he's been in a Craig one before.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
But he looks quite character driven, which is a nice step up.
Leia Seydoux is very talented. So, and I think
she was good in Spectre.
She seems very central.
Yeah, it seems like it's actually going to delve in. Skyfall delved in quite a bit to James Bond's life. Spectre tried, but it wasn't quite as successful. No. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. This is out in November, which actually isn't that far away now. Which is quite nice.
Yeah, it was meant to be out 5 months ago almost.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's mad the song came out and here we are nearly half a year later and it's still not out. But
no. But I'm excited to see it. Daniel Craig, Ralph Fiennes, I think he's one of the best actors working.
He's great.
I think he's brilliant as M. Ben Whisshaw's back. And I like the new 00. I can't remember, is it... Who plays it?
Oh, I can't remember.
Is it... I think it's... Is it Cynthia Erbos? Or I might be wrong.
No Time to Die.
I could be completely wrong. We're about to find out.
The new 007.
Oh, no, I'm wrong. Lashana Lynch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's what I recognise her from. She's in Captain
Marvel.
Marvel.
We haven't even mentioned Rami Malek.
Yeah, we haven't. He looks... I think he'll be a good villain.
Yeah, it looks fun. Classic maniacal world takeover Bond villain.
Yeah, and I like that. He's got the burns. Got the marks to prove it.
That mask is cool. That mask is really cool.
I do like the Mark. Mars.
A Mark? Mark Wahlberg? You a fan of him?
He's racist, isn't
he? Yeah, he's not great. I actually watched The Fighter the other week, which he was quite good in, but not a great guy.
Overshadowed by Christian Bale in that film.
Oh, yeah. What a guy Christian Bale is. Who actually is related to Gareth Bale, which ties us quite nicely to the... I thought you didn't hear. So.
I didn't know that. That can't be true.
I think they're like distant cousins or something.
Wow. He does have Welsh blood, doesn't he?
He does. He was born in Pembrokeshire, I think. I could be completely wrong, but I think so. But that's the Bond trailer. I don't know how we got onto Christian Bale and Gareth Bale. That's the Bond trailer. Exciting.
It is exciting. Is there anything else what else is in the trailer? I can't think.
I can't
Just
remember.
Watched it.
There's
the plane that becomes a submarine. Do you think that's a bit?
Yeah.
Do you think that's a bit sort of too Pierce Brosnan era silliness?
It is a little bit. Daniel Craig Bond has never really had anything that level of silly, but if they can pull it off, I'm interested to see how a plane can become a submarine. I can't wait to see the logistics of that.
I'm sure.
That'll be a real fun treat.
I'm sure they worked it all out.
That's Bond. There's quite a bit of Star Wars news this week, which we'll go over.
Annoyingly,
Star Wars, the War of the Stars?
Yeah.
Just a little franchise with a guy called Jar Jar. Really worth checking out. He's a Gungan. Yeah. Did you see John Boyega's interview with GQ that came out?
I didn't read all of it. I read the sort of the snippets, the most powerful segments that were all over Twitter that day. Very powerful.
It is. It's pretty powerful.
I can imagine he's right.
Oh yeah.
I think Hollywood's probably racist. I've got a hunch.
I think you might be onto something there. It's a very damning indictment of Disney.
Yeah, it is. And you kind of love to see it. You kind of love it to see John Boyega sticking it to Disney. He's
really shown the past few months he's not going to play the corporate game.
No.
He was at the Hyde Park BLM protest in June. Again,
yes.
They talked about that in the article, which was quite interesting. He wasn't actually meant to speak, but he felt compelled to do so, and it was a huge moment. That was a real turning point in our country. And I think he's right about Finn's character and how all the marketing. This is, I guess, a bit of a spoiler, but I think most people have probably seen them. All the marketing in The Force Awakens was suggesting he'd be the Jedi.
Yeah.
You know, there were pictures of him holding the lightsaber, and he does use the lightsaber in The Force Awakens, but then...
Against the guy that became a meme.
TR-8R, his unofficial name was. And then he really just fell off in the other two. In The Last Jedi, him and Rose went to Canto Bight Casino Planet, which was the worst part of the whole film. Justin Theroux was indeed playing a James Bond-esque character.
He was the one they were looking for.
Yeah, he was. The suave guy with the tuxedo.
Yeah.
I don't think it's unfair to say that's not the best part of that film.
No. Do you like that film?
I don't mind it. I think I like what it did in trying to do something different with the mythos, and I think people that don't like it are probably more annoyed because it's not what they expected, rather than it's not a well-made film. Because I do think it is a well-made film. I
do agree. It is well-made. It does have some irrelevant storylines.
It does. That Canto Bight storyline is completely
the whole
pointless.
and that is completely what John Boyega is saying. The whole Rose and Finn story was, in essence, pointless.
It really it had no bearing
and meaningless, and the actress got loads of hate,
she got terrible abuse.
But they were very much sidelined, and I think John Boyega is right in that regard. Yeah.
And even in The Rise of Skywalker, again, his role
I haven't seen it.
I won't spoil it. Not a lot, really.
I know.
He's knocking about with Rey and Poe. He doesn't... There's the kind of... His arc in the film is there's something he wants to tell Rey the whole way through and never gets the chance.
What's that?
We don't know.
You never find out?
I might be wrong, I haven't seen it in a while, but I'm pretty sure we don't find out.
Oh.
It's just disappointing how
seems
that
like bad
character
writing.
disappeared. Oh yeah. It seems like, we haven't planned this trilogy. Let's just wing it. And wing it they did. But it's true. The article mentions it. The first person you see in the very first trailer for Force Awakens is John Boyega. And then not only did he get so much hate.
Did get me hyped.
That trailer, that's one of the best trailers I've ever seen. That got me so excited.
There's been an awakening.
Have you felt it?
Have you felt it? Good. Andy Serkis, brilliant.
Andy
Serkis. What do you think about him dying in The Last Jedi? Spoiler, sorry.
It was an interesting direction. It was quite brave, but without saying anything about The Rise of Skywalker, it becomes retrospectively very, very, very frustrating and unsatisfying what they did with Snoke. Which is kind of the motto of that film.
Yeah. Oh, shame.
I mean, I could tell you if you want.
Tell me.
So, spoiler alert for Rise of Skywalker. Snoke is basically not a real person. He is a clone made by Emperor Palpatine as like a puppet to control the First Order while he's in hiding. And one of the first shots of the film is this massive like Bacta tank full of developing clones of Snoke, and it's just so weird.
But doesn't he die? Isn't he dead?
Snoke?
No.
Well, that clone is. Oh, Palpatine.
Yeah.
Technically, the novelization says that the Palpatine in Rise of Skywalker is a clone of Palpatine, and he'd like used the Force to transfer his mind into the body of a clone, which again is really convoluted.
Right.
I think that film is just best left in 2019. Because it really wasn't great. But I'll tell you what is great, The Mandalorian. And this week
Season 2 release date announcement. Is that right?
Oh, that is absolutely correct. And
amazing.
It's a bit cynical what Disney did, I think, because the announcement came hours after that John Boyega interview, which I can only imagine was damage control.
Yeah, that's a bit controversial.
That shocked me.
Did you write that in your article?
I did. I mentioned
you did.
There's a few.
The announcement has been met with some suspicion. Yeah.
It has. I'd count me suspicious, personally.
They silenced him today, Jessa said.
I
That's a
don't think
Kylo
Jess is
Ren
correct.
avatar.
Oh, Kylo. So, The Mandalorian Season 2 starts streaming October 30th. That's not too far away now.
No.
And I'm
You
very
excited
looking
for
forward
that?
to that.
The return of...
I am.
Is Bill Burr going to be in it? I haven't seen the first series. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm not going to comment on whether Bill Burr will be in it or not, for your sake.
He dies.
Spoiler alert. But no, this is exciting. There was actually... No comment. No comment. There were a few photos from Entertainment Weekly that came out literally an hour before we recorded this. And really? I was going to bring it up, but there's not a huge amount to say. It's just Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian and his mates just knocking about. Nothing looks too different. I won't get into my speculation for the season because you haven't seen it, but there's a character that was not huge in the first season, but came a large role in the last few episodes. I think they're going to play a huge part this season. There isn't much we know. We haven't got a trailer. I think now there's photos and a release date. I think it's only a matter of time till we get a trailer, really. But this is quite exciting. Something new on Disney Plus, which we'll get to later about new things on Disney Plus. But no, that's there's not a huge amount you can say. Did you watch Mulan?
No, I haven't watched Mulan. Have you paid
apparently it's
quid
quite
to watch
good.
Mulan?
No, I think I'll hold out. But apparently it's decent.
What about,
for the live action remakes, it's quite good.
You don't get it free from Disney, so you can write a review?
Sadly not. Bob Iger never hit me back, so I might have to tie my losses there. Cut my losses, indeed.
Tie him.
So I'll tie him. That's no problem. That's the Mandalorian. There's not a huge amount we could really say about a release date, but that'll be fun when that comes out. Look forward to that.
Sure.
Big Robert Pattinson news this week.
Big Robert Pattinson news, which is great. Well, it's not great that he's got coronavirus.
What a way to intro him this week.
But great that we can talk about Robert Pattinson again.
Any excuse we'll take.
Tested positive 2 days into filming.
That's a real shame. The Batman had just got underway in Liverpool.
Yeah.
I think after the trailer, everyone was so excited for it to make some more progress, and now that progress has been hampered.
He'll be all right. You must be. You got to wonder though. What was he up to? Crazy guy.
What was he up to? He's the kind of guy who will microwave pasta, so it's really hard to say what he's doing with his day. He could be anywhere. But it's quite interesting because when it was first reported that there was a case of COVID-19 on the Batman set, it wasn't reported who, and then, bam, it's Robbie. And there were rumours that the shooting would continue around his absence, picking up like B-roll or scenes without him, but that's not the case. It has been shut down. But since it's filming in Liverpool, here in the old UK, it's a 10-day self-isolation period, which is due to end on September 13th, which isn't miles away. So hopefully it won't disrupt it too much. It is a minor bump in the road. A lot of people have seen this as Warner Brothers not really doing enough in terms of restarting and bringing back film production. As in not having enough measures and safety stuff out there, which we don't know the circumstances surrounding it. It's hard to say, but it's not a great look when your star gets whacked with COVID on day 2.
No, and you got to wonder, he probably had it for the first 2 days, so maybe there may be more cases. Yeah,
I imagine they'll all be chilling in a hotel in Liverpool, self-isolating. I'd love to know what Robert Pattinson's doing in self-isolation.
Who knows? I'm sure he's enjoying his time off.
He's probably reading the new Twilight book.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I'd be quite shocked. Based on his...
I'm sure he's learning his lines.
I'm sure he is. He's probably bulking up.
Yeah, working out.
Trying on the suit.
Yeah, got to try on the suit.
Throwing some batarangs.
Stop the crime.
Stop the crime. He's vengeance now.
He is vengeance.
So hopefully he'll be back to his best soon.
Yeah.
Robbie,
Get well
we're here
soon,
for you.
Robert. If you're listening,
Send us an email. Let us know how you are.
Send us an email. We'll relay the message to our fans. Simra Frost will be really looking forward to hearing about
that. And the last bit of news we've got this week, some pictures from the new David Fincher film.
Yes,
it's been a long time since he's made a film.
I'm a big fan of that man.
I am also.
Black and White.
Gary
Citizen
Oldman.
Kane. Gary Oldman.
So for context, it's called Mank, starring Gary Oldman as Herman Mankiewicz, who was the screenwriter of Citizen Kane, and it's going to follow the production of the film and also the clashes that Mank had with Orson Welles, who is being played by, I forgot his name, but he's been in, the BBC Three Musketeers series. He's one of the guys in that. The pictures are quite cool, though. I think I could easily be wrong. Tom Burke. I don't know whether he was on the Three Musketeers. I didn't watch it, but
he was.
He was.
He was Athos. Yeah, just off the top of my head.
Wow, you must be a pretty big fan of that show.
Yeah.
Now this looks like quite an interesting film. Have you seen Citizen Kane?
No, sorry.
Me neither. No, I've
heard it's quite good.
I've heard some murmurs, but I don't know whether to watch it before or whether to go in not really knowing anything.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to watch Orson Welles. Who cares?
I saw he had a film come out on Netflix a few years ago called The Other Side of the Wind, which was like his unreleased project when he died, and it was actually quite good. It was I can't remember. It was like about a film producer or something. It was quite good. I think I need to watch it again because I don't remember too much about it. But I'm interested to see what this is. Anything David Fincher's exciting. It's been 6 years since Gone Girl, so
far too long.
I'm glad he did do Mindhunter in the meantime, which I haven't seen, but it's apparently.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, it is
it's
very
the kind
good.
of thing that's so up my street, but I've just never watched
Series 2
it.
was the end was a bit weird, but nah.
It's a shame that's another Netflix show canned too early.
Yeah, well, it wasn't cancelled. They were just
released from their contracts.
Yeah. So hopefully that does come back. There's still hope, maybe.
The door's open.
Because it is brilliant.
Now, this is... I don't know how we managed it. This is the perfect segue. Because we were just talking about a show in Mindhunter that was cancelled and we're hoping it gets brought back. And today's review is of a film.
First podcast review.
The first one, and I've got plenty we could talk about. It's about a film based on a TV show that was cancelled, and then 8 years later, boom, we get a film. So this week we're talking about Phineas and Ferb, the movie Candace Against the Universe.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Came out last week on Disney Plus. It's a sequel to the first Phineas and Ferb film, which was called Across the Second Dimension. That came out in 2011. Did you watch that?
I did when it came out, so 9 years ago.
So did I.
So I remember that they find out about Perry.
They do, but then their minds are wiped.
Yes.
Which is
that's all I can remember, really.
Yeah, that's all I remember. This takes place after that, but before the final episode of the series. It's just sandwiched in between there. And straight we'll talk about non-spoilers for a bit, and then we'll talk about spoilers. Because there are a few things in here that are probably worth not knowing when you go in. But just off the bat, I thought it was, for what it is just a lot of fun to see these characters again.
It was brilliant. I loved it.
There was a lot of nostalgia.
There was a lot of nostalgia. I thought it did everything. I thought it was, in many ways, it's sort of a meta look back at the show itself. And the sort of deep dive it did on Candace as a character.
Yeah, that was really refreshing.
Was very good, very interesting, because you see her moaning, and it's funny that the whole running joke is that she never busts her brothers, but then to see right in the sort of first 10 minutes, you see how much of an effect this has had on her mental well-being,
and you do feel quite bad for her,
and you feel for her, yeah. And I must say, Ashley Tisdale is absolutely brilliant in this. Her voice performance is amazing.
And I thought it was quite an interesting decision after nearly 10 years to do a film, and Phineas and Ferb aren't really the focus. I think it was quite an interesting thing to make Candace the protagonist. And in my research, the creators Dan Povenmire and Jeff Marsh both said if they were after the series finished in 2012, they would only have gone back to it had there been something they wanted to do, a story they wanted to tell.
Yeah.
And the opportunity to tell a story from a different perspective and have someone be the protagonist who wasn't Phineas and Ferb was very appealing. And I think they do a great job of it. It's quite a nice arc she gets, and it's actually quite heartfelt at points.
It is very heartfelt. I'm not embarrassed to say I did. My eyes watered. I didn't cry. There were no tears, but are we allowed to talk about spoilers yet?
Nah, hold off the spoilers.
Hold off on the spoilers. Okay. Well, there are some very I
think I know where you're going.
Some very touching moments, and it's and a very nostalgic look back at the show. I thought
it was very nostalgic, and I think with this show, the quality of Phineas and Ferb has always been in it's not just for kids. A lot of shows are like, oh, we're not just for kids, but a lot really are. But this one is the humour's. It's not kiddie, it's not vulgar, it's just quite clever and witty often.
It is.
I think the back and forth between the characters can be really good. And the main cast of characters are also really likeable and interesting.
They are.
They do something else I think the one criticism I have is they don't really centre on those characters much. I think it becomes more about the adventure rather than developing the characters, which I think the good thing about the Across the Second Dimension was a lot of it, from what I can remember 9 years ago anyway, it was quite refreshing to take the characters in a different direction. And in this instance, they don't really take the characters anywhere new, they just take them somewhere new, which is fine, and it's still a fun chance to catch up with them, and all the old jokes are back. It wasn't quite as textured, maybe, as the first film, but it's still
I can't remember the first film.
A good time. The songs are quite good as well. Do you have a favourite song? Because I wasn't expecting it to be a musical.
Did I have a favourite song? I
there was
do
one
really
that stood
like
out to me.
The one that stands out, that immediately comes to mind, I should say, is the song that starts with Candace.
The very first one.
Singing, just like It's a Beautiful Day, and then it goes all heavy metal when she's thinking about the anger. Cool. And I thought that was storytelling through music, and I thought that was very clever at the start.
It was. I quite like.
Which song?
You know, I don't want to spoil it, but where she's about to meet someone really important to the plot, and there's people around her that are singing, and there's a door that's trying to open, and they keep stopping. I didn't laugh out loud that many times, but that cracked me up.
That was funny. Really enjoyed that.
And I think in terms of the film, it's just quite nice to be back in that world. I like what Disney are doing, and I think they should carry on this route where they do revivals or pseudo revivals of shows that their heyday was a while ago and aren't really appealing to the target audience, because there's clearly an audience for this sort of thing.
Absolutely, people nostalgic, looking for. When I found out it was coming out, I immediately wanted to watch it. Phineas and Ferb as a show was just amazing, I thought. It
was great. It was so easy to watch and a lot of fun as well.
A lot of fun.
And this film is exactly the same. It's fun. The writing's good.
I do have a criticism in that I feel like Doofenshmirtz had a slightly diminished role.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And I think he as a character is, in my opinion, the funniest part of the show. I think he's an absolutely brilliant character. Bury the platypus.
I found out when researching this, I didn't actually know this. The creators did a show. Once this had finished, they did a show called Murphy's Law, Milo Murphy's Law it was called.
Right.
And it was set in the same universe as Phineas and Ferb. And Doofenshmirtz becomes one of the supporting characters in the second season of that.
Oh, wow.
Which is quite interesting. I know. So you might want to get on that because Doofenshmirtz is everywhere.
Oh no, surely not.
But yeah, I think it's a lot of fun, and it's not just for kids. I don't think you even need to know much about Phineas and Ferb as a show to enjoy this.
No,
you get enough from it.
The emotional payoff for me was, though I got emotional because of the hours I've spent watching this show, and all the memories I have with the show.
I think if you know the characters, that obviously does help.
Yeah, of course.
Because a lot of, as you say, some of the characters' roles are slightly different to what the show composed of. So it probably would do you some favour, if you've never seen it before, to watch a few episodes beforehand just to get to grips with the principles and concept. Because some characters aren't even really in it much. Like Phineas and Ferb's dad doesn't appear until after the credits. And
that was a very good post-credits scene. Or
that was enjoyable. Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
That was quite fun. But yeah, I think you're completely right. It was just nice. It was a nice film to be back in that world.
Absolutely. Perry the Platypus doing his thing. Although, again, I don't know if his involvement was huge.
No, there was one point, and we'll talk about it, where he kind of disappears, and you think, where did he go? And eventually you find out where, but they definitely see he got sidelined a bit, which is a shame. Perry should be in it more.
Perry's brilliant. Perry's brilliant. Doofenshmirtz is brilliant. I feel like Vanessa as a character was slightly... She's just sort of there.
Yeah.
I think the same as you said can be said about, Buford. Is it Beljeet?
Beljeet, yeah.
Beljeet,
he's actually my favourite. I like him.
And Isabella. What I did really like was the joke that he carried this canoe around everywhere with him.
Yeah, that was really funny. I really enjoyed that.
That was just a weird joke.
It was the kind of quirky humour that show does really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Exhibit A.
Exhibit A, and there's plenty more exhibits in there. If they carry on this route, if there was another, I don't think it seems like that's the final goodbye from the show. Not necessarily in terms of it. Because it's set before the final episode. I guess the precedent is there that if they wanted to 10 years down the line do another one, they easily could, and I'd watch it. It was. We haven't got a rating system, so I don't know what we want to do. I gave it, I think, 3 stars because I enjoyed it, but I just didn't feel there was quite enough there that was moving it on. 3. It was decent.
I'd give it 4.
I don't think I'm quite as emotionally invested as you in Phineas and Ferb.
I haven't had a look through all the episodes online, but I feel like I've seen the majority of them.
Yeah, you've got to grips with that show.
Yeah, but I could be wrong. I feel like season 4 I might have stopped, but there's a lot of episodes, so I might be long.
There's a ton. I was looking through last night because they've got some specials. They've got like a Star Wars special and a Marvel special, which I'm quite curious to actually watch in retrospect. So I never saw that.
They did do a Milo Murphy's Law crossover in 2019.
They did. Ferb's in that as well.
Of course he is.
He actually gets a lot of lines in this. He gets more lines in this than he'd had in any content with him in before, and he still doesn't say much.
What, in the crossover?
In the film.
The film.
This film.
The film.
I can't remember how many.
I do have a feeling. Yeah, he's not voiced by Thomas Sangster.
No, he was busy.
In this, which is a shame.
I wonder what he was busy doing.
Yeah, what was he doing? He's not much anymore.
He hasn't been in anything for a long time.
He was in Game of Thrones. That was a while ago. But what's he do? What does he do? What was he busy doing?
Probably
Thomas Brody Sangster, if you're listening, tell us what you're up to.
Our inbox is going to be rammed.
All
these famous people. I'd love to know, Thomas. Just hit us up.
Hit us up.
So,
thatfilmbloguk@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That is. You've nailed it there.
Good.
I need to get you on the payroll.
Yeah, please do.
You'll be entitled to a cent. Whereas
well, I was looking on your site, and you do have adverts on there. You got
on the website, yeah.
Yeah, I just clicked on one of them. Will that give you more money?
In theory, yeah. But
Okay.
we'll have to wait and see, because it works out. It gives you a figure of per 1,000 impressions of an ad how much money you get paid. Sometimes I've got like 35 cents per 1,000 impressions. Most of the time it's like hovering between 5p and nothing.
Right, okay.
So it's an uphill battle to make money off that. But it's at more than $1, so we'll have to reinvest into this podcast. We can buy some paper to write notes on. Maybe a pen if we're lucky. Let's talk spoilers.
Let's talk spoilers. Sorry.
So I think we should do a thumbs up, thumbs down rating system. That was my idea of what we could do.
Simple.
This film, easy thumbs up.
Absolutely, thumbs up. I was about to say go watch it, but just watch it in your house. If you have Disney Plus. If you don't, I'm sure you can stream it, but don't. I'm not encouraging that.
We don't condone that.
No, of course not.
Those things exist. No comment.
If you're that way inclined.
On to spoilers. So if you are planning on watching it, now I'll leave time codes in the description. So if you want to skip past this, feel free. We're going to be getting spoilery now. The one thing I really wanted to mention, and I'm sure you could probably agree, this was the highlight of the film, is where they broke the speed of light in the spaceship. They go from cartoons to storyboards to drawing.
That was brilliant.
Really funny.
Great to see Dan Povenmire and Jeff Swampy Marsh.
Yeah,
pitching it, and I wondered if they'd actually, during the pitch, as you know, as a selling point, they were like, and we're going to film part of the film right here in this boardroom.
Well, I can actually tell you the answer.
Really?
I did some research. The Disney execs that scene was initially planned for a theatrical Phineas and Ferb film,
right?
Which never got made. It got shelved. So then they decided to bring it back for this. And the Disney execs didn't want it in the film. They wanted them to take it out. Not sure. Really? I think maybe it's a bit too fourth wall breaky, wink wink nudge nudgy for Disney's ethos.
Disney needs to let loose a little bit, have a bit of fun.
But Dan Povenmire and Jeff Swampy Marsh, they refused, and it is, I think, the best part of the film.
It was, yeah.
It's really inventive.
It is inventive. I feel like it may have been done similarly been done in sort of Family Guy or something.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's
South Park's probably done it.
I think,
but it was still good.
Might have done it. It was good. That was
and
a fun
I love
moment.
the when they finally give her the gift. That's when I sort of got a bit emotional.
Yeah.
With all the times that she's had fun with them.
That was sweet. That was really sweet.
That was really, really lovely.
And then when she tells their mum to go and get them pizza, and they all have a nice big hug. That was it tugs on your heartstrings a little bit, and it's the kind of character growth you don't often see in that sort of thing. And I know I went on the film a bit for not having much of that, but that was a good example of it.
I did really like that. I'm trying to remember.
There's one thing I wanted to mention, that's Perry, because we touched on it in non-spoilers, but I think it's quite clever what they do with him, where he's in a situation where he has to help out, but he can't make himself seen at all. And I do get the criticism of he then becomes a bit nothing as a presence in the film. Yeah, but
it was an interesting proposition that he can't reveal his identity to either of them. I thought it was a good idea, and I did like the way that Doofenshmirtz was working with them.
Yeah, I did. You do have to ask some questions about Perry's the agent handler and how this kind of calamity has been allowed.
Why Perry was chosen for that mission, yeah.
He literally says himself it's the worst person they could have picked, but he still sent him out.
Yeah.
Irresponsible. I'd label that.
Lives are a risk.
Yeah, they really are.
And he sends... You don't send an agent out with, personal links to the case.
You do. If James Bond's taught you anything, that's rule number one. I quite like that. The scene where he's then they enter the asteroid field, all Empire Strikes Back-esque.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's swinging around. That was a really great scene. It was so much fun.
Good fun.
What do you think of the villains?
The villains, yeah. I mean, the villains standard.
It's a bit predictable.
It was, the friendship was obviously a facade. Well, it wasn't actually. Because she thought, what was her name? I can't remember. She thought Candace actually wanted to get into her sort of mind control ways. And then I liked when they both got when at the start Candace gets deep about why she gets so annoyed with her brothers, and then at the end the villain does the same thing.
Yeah, that was quite satisfying.
Yeah, good payoff.
I don't. You know more about Phineas and Ferb than me. So, is aliens and other planets? Is that the sort of thing that you've seen them do? Because I was just wondering when I was watching it, is this a little outside of the continuity?
No, I don't think it was. There wasn't a moment when in fact, I predicted it was aliens
From the poster.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think they are in the poster, but I don't think I'd seen them. I don't think I'd seen the poster. I was like, it's going to be aliens. And then I was proved right. You
were. The whole thing of she was picked because when the aliens explode, they say Candace. I thought that was really funny. And there's the great scene in the stadium where Candace is going around with the t-shirt cannon.
The t-shirt cannon was a brilliant scene.
I really enjoyed that.
That was a joke. The whole film in the making.
You could see the seeds being sown when the first.
I thought there were lots
Candaces.
of jokes like that. I can't remember any of them. So don't
I wish I'd written them all down because I tried to make notes of times I laughed, but I ended up stopping. There was
you
the
laughed
cowards.
too much.
It didn't stop. The nice thing is, it never felt. A lot of times, kids' films can drag or have a big dip in pacing. I didn't think this did. I thought it was pretty solid how it went along. There was never a point I was bored or thought, when's this going to get a move on, sort of thing.
I was never bored. I was loving every second of it.
I don't think it's possible to be bored of Phineas and Ferb.
I could watch. I think we're gonna sort of binge Disney Plus Phineas and Ferb. I think my appetite has been. Ooh, I want more.
Any last comments on Phineas and Ferb, Candace Against the Universe?
I said it earlier, and I think it deserves to be said again. But Ashley Tisdale, absolutely fantastic. She was the heart of the film, and she was brilliant. Very good voice performance. What are you up to, Ashley? Let us know.
Send us an email.
Send us an email because we don't really know, but
we'd love to know.
We'd love to. Well, in fact, we'll do an interview. Ashley.
Yeah, we'd love to talk about the making of the film. How you handled the rocket cannon.
We can do a deep dive on your career.
Talk about Sharpay.
I'd
love to talk
Sweet
about Sweet
Life.
Oh, yeah, another good one.
Classic.
I think.
If you're still in touch with, the Sprouse twins, I'm sure you are.
Let us know. That was Phineas and Ferb, Candace Against the Universe.
That was
a big thumbs up. First
big
review.
Thumbs up from that film blog
really big
UK.
Thumbs up. It's got the seal of approval.
Watch it, please.
Watch it. Stream it. Whack it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Give us more. I always feel inclined to watch the new Disney Plus originals because it comes out so infrequently. When something does come out, I want to watch it to show the people analytics or whatever that people do want more.
Yeah.
And I'm sure me as one individual isn't going to change Disney's mind on what to make or whether they need to make more. But I also want to just.
Why don't you email them?
I might.
Let them know.
Bob, it's Luke here. We want more. Right, on to shout outs and recommendations.
Shout outs and recommendations, right, okay.
Everyone will have just heard the nice new jingle as well. There's another jingle there.
Really good, yeah, okay.
I enjoyed that. Before we get into our recommendations, there's one shout out I need to do. This is the guy called Daryl Griffiths. I've spoken to him on Twitter a few times, and he messaged me about a Kickstarter campaign he's running for a cinema in Wolverhampton that he's a part of. It's called the Lighthouse Cinema, and they've not been able to reopen since restrictions were eased. because they simply haven't got the funding for it. They've started this Kickstarter to get stuff like specialist cleaning, safety equipment, training for staff to cope with social distancing measures and the way cinemas have changed since everything reopened. They're currently at 68% of their target, which is £10,000.
69.
So has it gone up? It's gone up since I checked.
They've raised 6,900 out of their £10,000 targets.
And that is going well. I'd like to see it do more. It's in its last week, so any traction towards that is good. Obviously, we need to help out as much as we can. It's got 5 days left as we record today, so it'll have 4 days left when this episode comes out. I'll leave the link in the description if anyone's interested. That's a great cause. Yeah. It's important to help out small cinemas and to get everything back on track. That's the shout I needed to do. What's your recommendation for the week?
Well, I started watching Jumanji 2. Yesterday.
Oh, that's come on Sky, hasn't it?
It is on Sky, yeah.
Any good?
I can't say. The first 15 minutes I was enjoying. Danny DeVito's in it.
Oh.
He's on top form, as he always is. Danny Glover, I think, as well.
I like Danny Glover.
Yeah. They're sort of old friends, I think.
Oh, yeah, I do remember seeing the trailers for this. I've never seen any Jumanji media.
No, the first one is pretty standard blockbuster fare, but it's fun. Kevin Hart, Dwayne Johnson, they're good together.
Yeah, you kind of know what to expect when The Rock's.
Jack Black is obviously Jack Black, brilliant actor and man.
Are you a Jack Black fan?
I'm a Jack Black stan.
Wow, I've never been a massive Jack Black guy.
Yeah, I think he's probably a little too highbrow for you. Just sort of slightly above your station.
He's whizzed over my head. I think. Probably just cracking jokes.
You don't like School of Rock?
Guitar. I've seen it, but it's not the kind of thing that stands out. It's not like a childhood favourite or anything.
Well, that's sad. You must have had a terrible childhood.
I had a great time. I was too busy watching Power Rangers.
Ah, good show.
That's real entertainment. Dino Thunder.
No,
well, Dino Thunder, then SPD. I used to watch a bit of Mighty Morphin back in...
SPD, I think, was the one I watched. With, like, the guy with horns was the head.
He was like a dog. He was like a lizard dog.
Yeah, that was good.
I had the game on Game Boy, and it was really fun, but there was some bug, and you could never get past the first level. You'd finish the first level, and the game would stop. And obviously, back in those days, they couldn't just patch something. So I would play the first level of that game, and then never get the chance to play it ever again.
Yeah, that's a shame.
So, based on what you saw at Jumanji, would you say it's worth checking out?
I feel like I should say. Well, I feel like I should give another recommendation. I don't.
I
saw 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Watch Soccer Aid.
Yeah, Soccer Aid was fun.
Soccer Aid was good fun.
I really enjoyed it.
I was gutted for Lee Mack. I really wanted him to score that penalty.
Yeah, he's not quite got the technique. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, three penalty misses in a row.
That is cursed. That.
Poor guy.
I did it. I've never really watched Soccer Aid before, but it was a fun. It was some light entertainment.
Absolutely.
At times like these, you can't resist it. My recommendation, something slightly different. This is a comic. It's not a film or TV. This is a comic.
Right.
It's called Sleeping Dogs. Came out in 2015. It's written by a guy called Fraser Campbell, who I've spoken to on Twitter as well a few times. Really nice guy. He sent me across his portfolio of stuff to review, so here we are. Art was done by Lautaro Capristo. And what it is, it's quite short. It's only about 30 pages. It's a one and done, quite a gritty story about this guy called Malcolm who he would do like leafleting dressed as a superhero back in the day. And he's quite like washed up now. He lives imagine in Dredd, the big tower block.
Yeah.
In the Raid, the big tower block. He lives in that sort of thing where it's run at the top by a group of mobsters, and his son is murdered, presumably by these mobsters, and he kind of switches and wants to get revenge, and that's what it becomes. It becomes a revenge story of this washed up guy, and the more of Malcolm, and the more you get into it, the more the story unravels. It's really gritty, and the art's really, really nice. It reminds me a lot of Kick-Ass in the sense of it's a superhero-ish story, but there's no powers, there's no magic. It's just a guy beating people up bad and getting beaten up in return.
Classic comic book fare.
And even for 31 pages, it does quite a lot character-wise. You first, when you meet Malcolm, he seems quite down on his luck, but then it kind of unravels a bit towards the end. There's some really nice pages where it kind of parallels him fighting against the villain versus how he treated his son, and it's not a glowing reflection. It becomes quite an interesting parallel, and it becomes more of an exploration of guilt, responsibility, the weight of regret and things you can't change. It becomes a lot more than just a revenge action story.
And how did you get in contact with this gentleman?
I followed him on Twitter. I can't remember. I've had him on Twitter for a while, and I just thought I'll have a message, see if he's interested. And I'm glad I did, because he's got quite a lot of other stuff out there. I'll leave a link. He's got like a online shop where you can check all his stuff out. He's got quite a lot of other stuff out there that I'm gonna have a look at, because I don't read comics often, and if I was to, it would be like a mainstream superhero sort of thing. But this was a really nifty, it's a really concise, interesting story that it leaves quite a lot open as well. And I won't say what in case anyone wants to have a look, but definitely worth a check out if anyone's interested in that sort of thing. He's also, I was speaking to him, he's got a new project he's working on called Indexed. I'm not huge familiar on the details, but he's doing a Kickstarter for that to try and get it funded. That starts on the 25th of this month. So when that happens, I will tweet that link out, because I'll be donating, because based on this, I definitely want to read more, because it was really enjoyable. Okay. That's a thumbs up.
How do I get my hands on this?
I'll leave a link in the description. I'll send you a link if you want.
Right, yeah.
It's nice and cheap. I think it's £2 or £3 to buy digitally, and then if you want a paper one, I think it's £4. So it's really not too bad. I think I'm tempted to pick up a paper one just because I want a physical edition, because I really did enjoy it, and the art's really nice. I'd like to see it on more than just my iPad, but definitely worth checking out. Even if you're not into comics, if you're sort of broadly around the actiony superhero sort of thing, it's quite a interesting. It reminds me of Watchmen in some ways, in how it does gritty, and it's obviously a bit more grounded in realism than Watchmen is, but definitely worth checking out.
I have a recommendation.
Oh, go on.
Yes, leading on from talking about David Fincher's new film Mank earlier, I believe on this Friday, his brilliant film about the hunt for the Zodiac Killer, called Zodiac, is on BBC One at 10:45.
Ooh, I've never actually seen it.
It's a brilliant film. Jake Gyllenhaal really plays the main character, with Mark Ruffalo and Robert Downey Jr. playing supporting roles. And it mainly focuses on Mark Ruffalo plays a detective looking into the Zodiac killings, who was a serial killer who then taunted the police and media with cryptic messages. Mark Ruffalo plays a detective, Robert Downey Jr. plays a journalist, and Jake Gyllenhaal plays I think he's a cartoonist who works at the same newspaper as Robert Downey Jr.'s character, who then sort of becomes obsessed with finding out who the killer was.
That sounds good.
It's about the toll on their lives that this obsession has, and it's very, very good. And there's one scene in particular that is just so tense, even though really nothing happens.
That's what Fincher's good at.
Sort of Fincher at his best, yeah.
I'm going to watch that. It's been on my radar.
I do recommend that. 10:45, BBC One on Friday. Give that a watch.
My TV recommendation this week, something I've not seen, comes out on Friday as well on Sky Cinema, so it's on demand, but it will also be shown obviously on their channels. Ford versus Ferrari, or as it's called here, Le Mans 66, but I think Ford versus Ferrari is a better title.
It is. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. I was interested because we were talking about Christian Bale earlier, so it's quite a roundabout structure we've got going on. The cast and James Mangold also interested me. He's brilliant. I think what he did with Logan, as we mentioned last week, that's a great film. I don't know too much about it purely for avoiding spoilers, but I do know it's like two rival racer car people.
I've seen it.
Oh, you've seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, then take it away.
It's about you've got. Well, it's about Ford, really. It's not really about Ferrari.
Mm.
And it's about Ford. It's about Ford trying to beat Ferrari at the Le Mans 24-hour race in 1966. Le Mans 66. And you've got Matt Damon playing Carroll Shelby from the cars, the Shelby cars. I think they're quite famous.
Oh yeah.
Who was a racer but can't race anymore, but now he's building a car for Ford. And Christian Bale plays this amazing driver at the time, who is their only hope of winning.
Oh, so they don't actually play Ford and Ferrari. That's the impression I was under.
No, they don't. And it's a brilliant film. I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. It's in many ways, I saw it at the cinema and it wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be, but it was so much fun. Far more laughs than I thought there would be. It's in many ways it's silly. Christian Bale obviously plays an English character, but there's Core Blimey Governor and Get Us a Cup of Tea, during a pit stop. So it's that kind of vibe.
Christian Bale hamming it up.
It's slightly hammy. Christian Bale's accent's a bit. I don't really know where he's meant to be from. But it's a lot of fun. So yeah, I absolutely recommend that as well.
I will be watching that on Friday.
Sky Cinema, Friday the 11th.
Yeah, Friday the 11th. Right. Well, I think that's anything else you want to mention before we wrap this up? The only thing I'll mention is all the celebrities we mentioned, please email us.
Please send in your emails. Or anyone, just ask a question.
Please give us something.
Just get in touch, please. Apart from you, Simra Frost. Stay out of the comments.
Simra, probably not, but Patricia, I would like to know whether we're still potential boyfriends after this episode.
Yeah, that's no Patricia.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Hope you enjoyed. We'll be back next week to discuss hopefully the June
making
trailer.
it to the end if you have.
Yeah, we checked the stats and not many people did, so respect. Yeah, hopefully we'll talk about June next week finally. It feels like we'll never get to talk about that.
We will.
Thanks everyone for listening. Ollie, thanks for being here. See you next week.
It's a pleasure. See you next week. Warzone?
Goodbye. Yeah, absolutely.